which is a perfect segue to what I see is where you're branching into, like, this is like the arena, you know, everything you're doing is all kind of building up into the modeling career.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like, you know, and everybody can say it's kind of chicken and egg, and they're saying one is this, one is, no, it's really, at the end of the way I see it is everything else you're doing is really building you up to that. And you kind of found your niche, your calling, I would say. And that's a really exciting industry, extremely scary. Yeah. A lot of people say they want to be models, and they cannot do that. Like, you know, like they hide behind the curtain, like they put on their outfit, and they can't even go show it to their parent, let alone put it out there to the world. So you're putting on that stuff, and you're putting it out there. Like, how long did you know you were going to be a model? When did that brainchild come to you, and how have you been finding it?
So I didn't actually know I was going to be a model. It's funny to say that out loud because, like, I've only really done like 5 shoots.
Yes.
But it just happened randomly. Like when I first started my Instagram, brands would reach out, like when I was like really little, and they would say, "Oh, we just want you to like come and do a shoot with these like crackers or this smoothie." And I was like, "Okay, that's fun." And then I had my first like actual paid gig a few months ago, and I've had like 3 since then. And I made a joke on my story, and I was like, should I put model in my bio? And I did, and people obviously talked about it because they sent the stories. But I was like, you know what? This is my life. Like, back to what I said, it's me that I'm doing this, and like I have a goal in mind, so I might as well go for it. But modeling has been really fun, and I think that because of where I've come from, and like because I live in a quote unquote larger body, and like have like come into the realm of body acceptance, I think that has also opened up a lot of doors for me, because brands are trying to be more inclusive. And when you see models, you still see skinny models, skinny white women walking down the runway, but you are also now seeing people of color and people in larger bodies actually being shown and represented, which is a breath of fresh air, and I am very happy to be part of that.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And from that end of it, like, do you start looking for an agent for that? Like, do you start like movies? Like, where do you see this going? Because, you know, once it starts going, you know, all of a sudden, like, you know, in my head, I'm like, okay, clothing line, movies, like, there's so many things that it can lead to, right?
For sure.
Do you foresee where it's going yet, or what's the game plan?
I don't know. Sometimes I think so big and then I get overwhelmed. So I'm like, maybe I'll keep it small for now and just do like random gigs here and there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very like open to everything. If I got an email tomorrow about being on a TV show, who knows where it would take me, or other shoots. But right now I'm just sort of having fun with it and seeing where it goes.
So again, that young person listening, and they're saying, wow, you know, that's so cool. You know, she's grown into this kind of role. I've always wanted to be a model. That sounds so interesting. And even when I look over here, like this picture, right?
Yeah.
I'm not a model by any stretch. You know, I had one great picture on one great day that a friend took, and that kind of blew up. That wasn't intended to be, and that became my logo.
Right.
But every time I look at that picture, I say to myself, I'm modeling. This is awesome, you know? And it's a really good feeling, you know? And I'm sure every time, you know, for either a product or a service or what be it, when you see yourself out there, it's got to be, you know, the greatest feeling. You know?
It is a good feeling. I did a shoot for a bathing suit company, and like old me would be so embarrassed to wear a bathing suit, and then new me is like very proud of that. And I clicked on their website the day of the launch, and like my face was on the front of it, and I was like, it's actually happening. And like, it was very exciting, because whether like the money that came with it was great, it was like a job, but just like to see where I've come from, because like things can get happen very quickly, like podcast, this, that, TikTok, you know, modeling shoot. And then I like sit back and I'm like, I can't believe where I've come from in the past 5 years, from like someone who was so embarrassed and ashamed when I was 60 pounds lighter to where I am today is just like 2 different people, and it just makes me happy.
So I think then, as far as modeling and social media influencing, it still comes back to VSC, comes back to the work, you know, doing the work, the exercise, and then nutrition and everything else. And there's a word that you use, and I had my note here specifically, and I put it in brackets, and I'm glad you raised it. I hate the word diet.
Yeah.
I just do not like it whatsoever. For me, I always think of lifestyle. It's a lifestyle we choose. And there's so many people I've seen throughout my life that are saying, I need a quick fix. I need to do a crash diet. I need to go run a marathon. I need to go do a boot camp. I must fix this immediately. And from everything I've ever done and I've ever seen from people to succeed, it's like whatever you're going to be getting to, it's slow and it's steady. It's sometimes it's painful. It's not always the best. Some sacrificing involved to wherever you got to go.
Right.
But that diet, the idea you have to pop pills for it, or you got to starve yourself, or you have to take in a whole bunch of calories to do it. I don't like those extremes one way or the other. I just think it's an unhealthy way to do it. Your body, reacts to it, and it just creates this unhealthy mental attitude with it.
For sure.
But that being said, with it, as far as do you feel like, for example, like from a modeling standpoint, there's still the categorization as far as like skinny model, plus size models, and all this, and I wish they would just get rid of all these labels and it just be model. But when somebody is in one realm, do you think that they get like then typecasted into it, that it could be, now I feel the pressure that I have to stay in this body because I'm going to, like, for example, I've read before about actors and actresses that were heavier. And they said, if I lose that weight, I'm no longer the funny big guy anymore.
Right.
Or I'm no longer the voluptuous woman. I'm going to lose all my roles. Versus a person who's also very skinny and saying that I have to keep the skinniness, or because if I put on the weight, I'm not going to have that character anymore.
Yeah.
So do you think that it almost becomes a pressure the other way to maintain it?
For sure. Yeah, there's pressure with any body type. I think, especially when it's your job, you're like, I have to stay like this. And I've thought of that too. I'm like, what if I did want to lose weight? Because I'm not anti-weight loss. I'm just anti-toxic diet culture.
Yes.
So like, what if I did want to lose weight? Like, would people think that I'm a fraud, or that I don't actually like my body, or that I'm like putting out an image, like a false image? And that's not how it is. I think for me, I talk about body acceptance rather than body positivity, especially because I'm about like accepting your body in the now, and you are allowed to change it. If you want to get lip injections, if you want to lose weight or gain weight, like who cares, right? Like everyone's like, if you get Botox, you don't actually like your body. And I'm like, well, that's just that person, like everyone's allowed to do what they want. But back to modeling and acting, I think there's for sure pressure to stay in your like weight class. If you want to talk like boxing or UFC, like, even with that stuff, like you have to stay in a certain weight class in order to fight. Just like you have to be in a certain weight class to be considered plus size or petite or whatever it is. So I think the pressure is crazy. And I think when people tell their like modeling stories, when modeling agencies are like, you have to lose 5 pounds and they're already 100 pounds. I'm like, how could you say that to someone? But honestly, it's the industry, and there is change that's happening, thank God, but it's the industry, and it's for people like Ashley Graham, who's a plus size model, who I love. And like, but it's crazy because like she's a plus size model. She is stunning, and she's like hardly plus size. And like, she's considered a plus size model.
Which blows my mind. Exactly. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Thank you for enjoying today's episode of the Chosen Life podcast. Go ahead and hit the subscription button below and the notification bell to catch all of our great shows. And remember to contact the Chosen Lawyers when you are ready for your next real estate and commercial transaction. Go to kormans.ca.